Hi everyone, my name is Steph, this is the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking through some plans on how I'm going to be choosing my TBRs for 2024. And I'm really excited about it. If you've been around here for a long time, you will know that I am pretty much a mood reader and I will drop anything and just read what I want. And I don't always do really well with really set TBRs. And if I'm going to have a set TBR, I need to have a massive one that I can just pick whatever I want from, as opposed to something that's actually manageable and, you know, reasonable, because I like options. What I've decided to do is think about how I go about selecting the books I'm going to read each month. I do resets every month where I have my TBR, I have sort of talked through sort of my process and how I'm picking books to include on that, and I will go through all of that again in January. What I wanted to talk about in this video was kind of how I'm doing some of the behind the scenes stuff for that, because I really want to prioritize the things that I own next year. And I know that Izzy and Shay have their Read What You Own challenge, and I will kind of loosely be participating in that. I'm not too worried about tracking numbers and things for it, but I am just wanting to prioritize what I physically own and what I own digitally, and trying not to bring in too many physical books that I haven't read. One, because it'll be better for my bank account, but also trying to reduce what's on my Kindle, because there's stuff that's been on there for years. And it's not because I don't want to read them, it's just that I don't have time to read them. And if I've always got new things coming in, I don't necessarily prioritize backlist titles. And I'm just going to give it a shot. I'm not going on a book buying ban. I refuse to do that because that just means I'm going to fail. But I am going to prioritize Libby and KU and trying not to buy the physical books that I haven't read yet. The exception being kids titles, because that's, to me, that's a separate thing, and that's usually work related. And I'm still going to be allowed to buy new releases. I'm just probably going to buy them as an ebook first, unless it's an ongoing series that I'm actively reading, or an auto by author. So Nalini Singh and Tal Bauer and Chloe Leese and authors like that, Emily Rath, I will buy the physical books because I know I'm going to read them, and I will read them very close to release. But for anything that's new, any new authors, any random books that I hear about, I'm going to try and go the digital route first. Let's hope it works. So if we think about my digital TBR for a second, there's a couple of ways that I'm going to try and prioritize that each month. So one of the ways is that every month of the year, I'm going to read the oldest book on my KU TBR. I have a KU update video coming out later this week, and in that I talk sort of about what I've recently read and what I've got out, and I will mention this in that video as well. But I do tend to keep certain books that I know that I have to read on my Kindle Unlimited TBR. They tend to sit as the oldest books on there that I haven't read. Like, I've got a couple on there that have been on there all year, and I know that Heather from Here Booktubes will just shudder at the thought of that. But there are a couple of books that I do want to read, but I have honestly not been in the mood for it. I keep them there because I'm going to get to them at some point. And so in 2024, every month of the year, I'm going to read the oldest book that is currently on my KU TBR. And I think that will help because that's an achievable challenge. The other thing that I have is I have a whole stack of my Kindle ebooks in this jar. They're little origami stars. So I have spent a bit of time, this has actually been rather therapeutic to put together. I've actually spent some time writing out some titles, particularly ones that have been on my Kindle for the longest time, and also things that I've picked up on Stuff Your Kindle Days I've put in here so that I can pick one out every month. Now, this is also going to come in handy for another challenge that I'll talk about in a moment. I know lots of us face that I don't know what to read moment, and I figure this is going to be a way to go, because I can also use it for things like if I want to do a try chapter vlog or something like that, I can use this for it. Plus it just looks pretty on the shelf. So even if I fail, I have a pretty decorative thing on my bookshelf. I'm not finished folding the stars. I have these to fold and put in there before I pick anything. These are mostly Stuff Your Kindle Day ebooks. I do like trying to make fun ways to pick TBRs just because I get bored very easily. And so trying not to do the same thing over and over again helps. Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends. And then in my reset videos, every month I'm going to choose books by a theme. And You guys know I love my spinner wheels, so I have a trusty spinner wheel and I will have a video of me setting up the categories for that.
Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a
But I also wanted to explain what I mean by each of these categories. So there is more categories than there are months of the year, and I'm hoping that I can keep this going. There are also a couple of months where I will be helping to co-host various things with people. So I will be choosing books in that particular method, but because that's going to be a different way than I'm picking every other month, it should be okay. I am co-hosting another round of the Australian Readathon next year. We just don't know which month it's going to be, and we wanted to move it forward from November just because November got a bit hectic for people. I'm also helping to co-host a friend's readathon as well, I think in March. So I will be picking books in the method that they would like me to for that month. But yes, the reset TBRs are going to be where I have a particular method to choose my TBR, and then I might roll a dice or random number generate how many books I'm going to pick between 5 and 10. That still gives me a lot of flexibility in review titles that I need to read, opportunities for mood reading, and all sorts of things. Okay, so my reset options include reading physical TBR, so it means I just pick books from my physical unread books. My digital TBR, which I can then pull from here. I can go through and I have series, which means I need to pick books that I'm continuing a series on, which is going to be great because I'm also going to have another video in January about series I want to read in 2024. But this can be anything. It can be anything that I have the next book in a series to read. And that way I'm just making progress on the series that I'm reading. Australian, which means I can pick books written by Australian authors or set in Australia. I mean, I'm going to do that anyway, but actually just having a month that is themed around that. BIPOC, which I'm also just continually trying to read more BIPOC authors anyway, but centering a TBR around BIPOC authors in a given month would be fun. Alphabetical order, which means I would randomly select a letter and I have to pick a book that starts with that letter, and then every book I read after that has to follow on the alphabet and start with the next letter in the alphabet from that point, which I thought would be a fun challenge. There is the color of the cover, so I could use a random color generator and then have to pick books based off the cover that I get. There is the KU TBR, so literally I would have to read and prioritize X number of books from my KU TBR that month. Reading by numbers. This is another series related one because I would have to read the first book in a series, the second book in a series, the third book in a series, the fourth book in a series, or it could have the number in the title, but I have to go consecutively. I think that will be really challenging, but I'm kind of intrigued by that one. Knowing my luck, that would be the first one that I pick. I also have my 2022 TBR and my 2023 TBR. So these are books that I had on my radar and purchased but didn't read in the year that they were released. So I would prioritize those. TBR game, which means I play someone else's TBR game. Audiobooks, so I would have to go in and prioritize any unread audiobooks that I have. Signed books, this is self-explanatory. I have quite a few signed books from book events or special editions, so I would prioritize what I have of those. I could do a scroll Instagram, so I would literally scroll Instagram until I come across books that I actually own. Then there's seasonal reading. There is the random word generator, so I would use a random word generator and then try and find books to fit those prompts. And then also I've put my book Friendopoly game on here so that I could play my game at some point during the year. Like I'll probably still play it at other points, but I don't want to play it constantly. So this sort of gives me that random opportunity to do so. So yes, those are some of the ways that I'm going to be picking books from my TBR. I don't know whether I'm making my life complicated or easier. We'll see, but we're going to try and have a bit of fun along the way. And I'm really happy if people have other ways for me to pick my TBR to leave them down below, because I can always add them to the spinner wheel. A lot of these have come from ideas from my channel survey, but also from conversations with friends and then just sort of random ideas that have popped up as I've been planning this out. So I'm very happy for more ideas to be on there. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope that wherever you're in the world, you're staying safe and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye everyone.